My daughter's conked on the couch. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Kansas Missing and Unsolved podcast. I am your host, Ricky Tabruggi, and joining me down there in Elkhart, it's Derek Elliford and Hope Chance. How's everything going down there?
It's going good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm on vacation from work this week, but still been a busy week nonetheless. Trying to get caught up on things around here and other things going on, and got my window in my van replaced. So I was just going to ask, where's our names?
Yeah, I just noticed they weren't there. I got them up there now. We're good.
Cool. We have names now. Awesome. Yours isn't there.
I don't. Yeah, because we're on the same computer, so it says it gives me the option to name the second camera, but it doesn't display it. So
gotcha.
I'm not really sure what to do, bud.
Gotcha. Well, now Hope's name disappeared. Well, that's because you're putting up comments. Never mind.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, never mind. There we go. So for some reason I wasn't seeing comments right away. Okay, there they are. And I was telling Derek and Hope before the show, I was having some internet issues with Cox, and they were telling me that I messaged them on Facebook, because if you message Cox on Facebook, somebody answers. But they were telling me that I was experiencing an outage up here somewhere, and I may experience service droppage periodically, which I was. But it seems to be rectified for the time being, and let's hope it holds out. So it's always something. Always something. Now I go back to work on Saturday, and I was looking at the long range forecast, and I see the day I go back to work, it's supposed to be 104.
Oh, lovely, lovely.
Yeah. 104 on Saturday and 100 on Sunday. I'm like, oh my gosh. What a return to work that's going to be.
The kids here in Elkhart start school tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. They're already going here in town.
Yeah, I was going to say, they're everywhere else in the world. The kids have been in school for years. But like here in Elkhart, they're going tomorrow. So pretty exciting stuff, man.
Yeah. What's going on, Tammy? I like Tammy's thing. There was like Tammy's comment. There was up T-Bird. My dad used to write that on our sack lunches when we'd go on field trips. He would write T-Bird on there.
That's funny.
It's still happening. It's carrying on.
Yeah.
I'm going on like 2 hours of sleep. I had to go over to Oklahoma today to go to that trial for those two missing. It was the missing mom trial forever.
Right.
I don't know what they're calling it now, but yeah, I'm pretty exhausted. But we're gonna do this. All right. Oh, Ricky did an event. Tell us about the event, Ricky.
Yeah, this last Saturday I was set up at the XWE wrestling show, and there's a look at the table and the flyers and the banner that Derek had made that I used, and all the stuff I had on the table. Had a few people stop by and read flyers and stuff like that, so it's pretty good. And I'm planning on doing it again on September 28th at their next show as well. So, I'll have a reminder post up for that. So if anybody wants to stop by and say hi, they can do that.
How's that banner holding up, man? We got that a couple years ago.
It's holding up really good.
Really?
And actually what I've done how I haven't secured there is I got Velcro. And nice. I got one side of it stuck to the blue tablecloth and the other side stuck to the back of the banner. And on the back side of the table where I'm sitting at, you can kind of see the little white things on there. They're tablecloth clips. So that way the tablecloth doesn't slide forward with the weight of the banner. Nice. So it holds it steady. So it works out real good.
Well, go see Ricky at some events. He's going to try to go to as many events as possible. His schedule allows. Yeah. We talked about this last week. We just want to cover it again. Ricky's been seeing some other. Basically, anytime you see, he'll kind of go over all of it. But anytime you kind of see something where just some stranger claims they found like a confused person or a really young person, and their course of action is to ask random strangers on Facebook, like, what should I do? It's probably a scam. But go ahead.
Right. Yeah, they're primarily using missing persons as a lead into a scam, and they either use older people or kids or teenagers or dogs, and it starts out as a missing person scam, and then they switch it to some real estate scam. I'm not sure exactly how they get a hold of their victims, because they shut the comments down, so you can't comment or nothing. I guess they do it by shares. I guess when somebody shares that post, they go after them, I guess. I'm not sure. But I was noticing a couple new ones today. I saw one pop up in my news feed, and it was a couple pictures of a little girl. It looks like she was a little worse for wear. Looked like she maybe been hit in the face once, and said they found her wandering on a street somewhere and were looking for their parents. And of course, comments were shut off. It was on a real estate Facebook group, and the same person had posted another post using a missing dog, I believe it was, but it was the same person, different post. And it's just like, I just do not like, when I hate it when they do that, because I'm starting to see backlash from that, as far as people saying, I don't know what to share that's legit and what's not legit, and I get that, but everybody knows what comes from our page, definitely legit.
Absolutely.
And again, like, unless you're new here, unless it's your first day on Earth, I don't think any responsible human being would do anything other than call the police. I don't think any responsible human being would be like, "Hey, let me get a few snapshots of you. I'm gonna type up, just in this random page town. Hey, does anybody knows who kid? Yeah, that sounds smart." And then it's just I don't. And again, I think that it definitely has to be more. There's more going on than what we're aware of, because, like, to me, it doesn't make sense, because they turn the comments off. I'm just like, well, what are they actually getting out of it? But I'm guessing, like, people that are massively sharing these, maybe they're getting fished. I don't know, but it's crazy.
Yeah, I saw a post on Garden City Police Department's Facebook where they were warning people of real estate scams, and I commented on there about these fake posts, and I include that yellow thing that was on the screen there about it, and informed them what was going on with it, and they thanked me for posting that, so they're aware of it now. So it's always something. If these people would put as much effort into honest work as they do dishonest work, they would be doing pretty good, I'm pretty sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's wild stuff.
Yeah. And Tammy was saying that I always ask you, Ricky, if it's real or not. And she does. All right, this is one I just got going today. I saw these in my news feed. I had done flyers for this young lady before and one other one, and saw that they had been missing again. And so I reached out and asked if they needed the flyers going again. They said yes. So I got on the computer as soon as I got back from something I was doing this morning, and did them when I got home. So, but this one's Isabella Millerson. This is from Topeka, Kansas, since August 19th, 2024. She's 14. 5'3" to 5'5", 150 pounds, dirty blonde hair. Her mom tells me her eyes are kind of a bluish green. Her hair was last known to be dyed a dark blue, almost black. The photo on the right with the tongue out was just taken a couple of days ago on Monday. So that's a very recent picture. I wish she wasn't sticking her tongue out, but hey, what are you going to do? She was also carrying a red and black checkered full-side backpack. If you have any information regarding Isabella's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Topeka, Kansas Police Department at 785-368-9247 or 785-368-9200 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And see if we can't get Isabella located and back to where she needs to be.
Do you know who Arctic Fox True Crime is?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've watched a lot of his videos and stuff, and I like his videos because when he feels like law enforcement's not doing enough, he really gets on their case.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Is he a Kansas? Where's his? Is he like nationwide, or what is?
He covers cases all over. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I just Googled Isabella Miller, Topeka, Kansas, and it looks like 6 months ago he used your flyer for a 1-minute short video.
Yeah, he's used a few of mine. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool, man. Yeah, I don't know if you heard it. You shouldn't be able to because we have like noise cancellation stuff, but I accidentally clicked one of his videos, and he talks really loud, and so
he does.
I'm gonna check out his video after the show.
And my brother's saying it felt bad. He delayed me from doing flyers, but Hey, no problem. I had to be there for you. Couldn't, I mean, if I couldn't have been there for you, you wouldn't have been able to have it done. So, I mean, yeah, no problem. I didn't mind being there. You know, I don't like delaying flyers, but if I have to, I have to, especially when I'm at work, you know. And who was that asked me about if I've done? Yes, I've done a flyer for Isabella before. Yes.
Jana Holstead.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully they can get her brought home.
And this one I added a nice little tidbit of information too, but I will cover it here real quick. Angela Green. Flyer's been making the rounds, and her case has been making the rounds for some time. She's missing out of Prairie Village, Kansas since June 19, 2019. She was 51 when she went missing. She's now 56. 5'9", 116 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. There have been conflicting reports as to what happened to her as well as where she's at. Her daughter was told by her dad that she had passed away in July of 2019 of a stroke, but yeah, she's not sure of this or any other claims because she has tried to. She went to Topeka to try to get a death certificate. And they have no death certificate on record at all. I believe she tried on the Missouri side as well. I guess he told her she, at one point, she was institutionalized for mental illness, and that turned out not to be the case. And supposedly she died in the mental institution. Again, not the case. Police have also gotten some conflicting statements about her whereabouts that are a little concerning to them as well. They say they are treating Angela's case as a missing persons investigation or working with several other agencies to try to locate her. I know they searched the family home at one point, and apparently he moved to another location, and I don't know if they've searched that or not, but I know the daughter had been there and she saw what looked like a fresh mound of dirt in the backyard, I think it was, and she was trying to get him to search it. I don't know if they ever did. Again, at the time of her disappearance, Angela was 51. She's now 56. She is 5'9", 116 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Angela's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Prairie Village, Kansas Police Department at 913-642-6868 or Crime Stoppers at 816-474-8477 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And this is an interesting look. This is the information I added today. There's a $50,000 reward being offered. I saw a little bit different wording on this, but it's offered for information on Angela Green's location or finding and positively identifying her remains. So there is, and that is being offered by a private investigator that is investigating the case. And his name is, let me get his name here. His name is Steve Ridge, is what his name is. So he's been working this actually the reward information just came out back in March, and I just saw it today for the first time. So he's offering this $50,000 again for her location or for location of her location and positive identification of her remains. So like I said, Tammy, I don't know if they have searched it or not. I have not heard. I'm still trying to find information on that.
It looks like there's a podcast about this case by her daughter.
Yeah.
What was it called?
Yeah, I know People Magazine did an interview with her online and reached out to me. This has been probably a year or so ago. Reached out to me and asked if they could use the flyer during the interview. And I said, yeah, sure. And they did. They used it in the video.
Nice, so, man. Y'all have to check that podcast out. That's pretty wild, though.
Yeah, it is. I don't know why. I mean, it's obvious that, to me, in my mind, it's obvious that her dad has obviously has got something to do with it. I mean, he's changing stories. He's, not cooperating with law enforcement very well, that kind of thing. Hey, Kelsey, how you doing? Dr. Fox should get on Sumner County TNLEO's butts about Sebastian Rogers' case, a autistic 15-year-old. Yeah, and we've covered his case a time or two on the show, too. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, her dad said, or Angela Green's dad, or Angela Green's husband, her dad, the daughter's dad said that she died of a stroke, but her daughter couldn't find any record of a death certificate on the Kansas or Missouri sides. He also said that she supposedly died in a mental institution, that she was mentally institutionalized. At one point, they supposedly had got her at a parking lot at a store somewhere to take her to the institution because they knew they wouldn't be able to get her out of the house or something like that. I'd have to go back and listen to it, but it was something along those lines. And I was just like, he's just making up all this cock and bull stuff. And, yeah. So hopefully somebody's got a piece of information that will help break that case open. I mean, like I said, private investigators got a $50,000 reward out there to lead to her location or for finding her remains and positively identifying them. So they can do that.
Yeah, it sounds like the dude's lying through his teeth, whatever. I mean, that's kind of a dumb lie to say. Like, she died in a mental institution. Okay, well, I'm sure somebody would remember that, you know.
And there would be an issued death certificate, which, like I said, she's asked for it and has not gotten it or found it, and they said they didn't even have record of one. So, I mean, this is the other one that I had reached out on this morning about too. Maya Mitchell, missing from Kansas City, Kansas since August 20th, 2024. She's 15. She's 5'6", 140 pounds, blonde hair, blue eyes. Don't have much more information than that, but if you have any information regarding Maya's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department at 913-596-3000 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And I have actually done a flyer for her before. So this is the second one I've done for her today. So
Too young.
Only last time she went missing from Topeka. This time's Kansas City, Kansas. So
yeah. Well, hopefully she gets found and she stays put and has a good life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is another one I did this afternoon as well. Angelica Perez. There she is right there. Missing from Wichita, Kansas since June 23rd, 2024. She's 13, 5'3", 115 pounds, brown hair and brown eyes. She does have a nose ring piercing in her nostril. If you have any information regarding Angelica's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-660-9456 or 316-660-9254 or 316-263-6011 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get Angelica located and back to where she needs to be. She had gone missing one other time prior to this. I didn't have a flyer made for her at that point, but she did go missing one other time prior to that. And she was located safe, but went missing again not long after. So
was it in June when she went missing?
Yeah, it was like June 14th the first time, and then June 23rd this time. So
was this the one that was the? No, was this the Amber Alert we did? Because it says that she was last seen. No, this was a Hispanic juvenile in the GMC. That she was on the 14th, the last time she was missing. It looks like she was seen with a juvenile, Hispanic juvenile. But it did say that the update was that she was located safe on that last time.
Yeah, my friend Annette had covered her on Missing in Kansas and the first time. So, yeah, I didn't miss it. I didn't get that one till today that she went missing again. So, and Mr. Foster, we've covered him several times, but we'll keep doing it. He's missing from Independence, Kansas since April 12, 2020. He was 37 when he went missing. He's now 41, 5'9", 190 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. He was reported missing on May 12, 2020. He was last seen around April 12, 2020 in Independence. KBI agents and detectives from the Independence Police Department are conducting the case as a homicide based upon findings during the investigation into Dietrich's disappearance. Again, at the time of his disappearance, he was 37. He's now 41. He's 5'9", 190 pounds. He has black hair and brown eyes. Dietrich has a scar on his chest from heart surgery and a scar on the right side of his nose. He has the following tattoos: a cross on his right forearm, the astrological sign for Gemini on his right arm, 3 dice on his arm, the name Dejeuner on his arm, and the word foo on his abdomen. If you have any information regarding Dietrich's disappearance, you know his whereabouts, please call the Independence, Kansas Police Department at 620-332-1700 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And there is a governor's reward of $5,000 for information leading to the arrest and conviction of those responsible for the disappearance and suspected murder of Dietrich Foster. So if anybody has any information at all, no matter how small you think it might be or how minute you might think it might be, get it called in, because it could be a big piece of what they need to get this case moving forward. So please call it in.
I'm looking on this disappearedblog.com. It said that at one point he was a corrections officer. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. Huh.
Oh, if that's true, that could be kind of scary. Like I know that correction officers probably aren't super popular to people that they were in charge of, housing.
Chris Hunter is saying, I have Jonathan Clayton's sister Ed as a friend on TikTok. She gives updates on her brother. She gives daily updates. She said KBI has taken over the case. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, we covered his flyer last week. I haven't heard any updates on his case. Chris, was there any, aside from the KBI update, was there any other kind of updates or anything?
I'm just looking at this disappeared blog thing. It doesn't look like there's any updates. It just said he was a correctional officer before he worked for FedEx.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that means anything. Did we lose Ricky?
Yeah.
Oh, there he is.
Do it.
We thought we lost you. We couldn't hear you, man.
Oh, you couldn't hear me? Oh.
No, I think
might be another one. Oh, yeah. Well, I threw Jonathan Clayton's flyer up there too, just in case we want to cover it again. And Chris says he hasn't heard any updates. And this is a case that's kind of got me a little concerned. And when I go into details on it, you'll know why. It's out of Missouri. I was telling them before the show there was an uptick in Missouri cases for tonight's show. This is Abigail Catherine Lawless, no relation to Annette Lawless, she said, apparently. Missing from West Plains, Missouri since August 17th of this year. She's 17, 5'9", 162 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. The Howell County Sheriff's Office in Missouri has issued an endangered persons advisory for Abigail after a missing persons incident occurred in the 10,800 block of County Road 9570 in West Plains, Missouri. Abigail left a note stating that she was better off living on her own. Initially, it was thought that Abigail was traveling to Kansas City, but an update on the case says she may be traveling to the state of Virginia via unknown route or conveyance, meaning vehicle type or description. Abigail is believed to be with a person she met online, and this person has not been identified. Abigail is on the spectrum of autistic high functioning, and she's 17, 5'9", 162 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. She is legally blind without her glasses. You have any information regarding Abigail's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call 911 immediately or call the Howell County, Missouri Sheriff's Office at 417-256-2544 or the Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178 or 866-362-6422. See if we can't get her found and back to where she needs to be.
That's scary.
That one's scary because she feels like she can be off on her own, and she's believed to be with somebody she met online, and they don't know who it is.
Yeah, that's scary.
She initially thought she was headed to Kansas City, but now they think she's heading to Virginia instead. So,
as far as the whole high functioning autism, though, like I never knew what that was until my son's school told me that he was high functioning autistic. And to me, like I mean, he's my kid, so I'm probably biased, but I can't tell any difference. I mean, maybe a little bit more peculiar than some kids. Oh, excuse me. But I also found out that one of my favorite content creators is a high functioning autistic, and I guess like the reason I'm talking is like I think when it's really high functioning like that, you can't really tell. Like it's more of a. I think people that are like I think the spectrum is just people feel and see the world differently than quote unquote people, normal people. But so I used to whenever I would see a flyer that said like anything that said autism, like it would make me like afraid, like, oh well, they don't know what to be like. I don't think that's the case. So I think they're a little more peculiar, than
right.
than maybe their neighbor or something. But at the end of the day, I'm 41. I met some people on the internet when I was 17, and it would have been a disaster to go anywhere with any of them.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
probably not, autism or not, probably not a great idea to move to Virginia to live with somebody you just met. Probably not.
Right.
Probably not the soundest idea.
Yeah. I always warn my daughters about, when they're talking to people online, I always tell them, they could be looking one way online, talking one way online, like, I told them that the profile picture could be somebody that's your age and looks your age. And I've been telling them this since they were, 14, 15, 16. They could look your age, but in reality, it could be a 30, 40, 50-year-old man sitting on the other end of that computer. You just don't know.
Absolutely.
And then the other part of the equation is they can be a one-way to you online, and then they get you in person and do a total 180 on you and treat you just completely opposite how they were treating you online. So, I mean, it's really a crapshoot when you're, getting involved with people online. You just can't be too careful.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I can't really find. The only thing I could find, I have to click it and pay for it. But there was a murder in Garden City in 2003 when I was living there. A girl named Chi Kim Tai Nguyen. She was 18, and so in Garden City now it's going to be called. Oh, my wife's going to beat me. It's one of the hotel now, I think, is the Magnuson Hotel is what it would be called. And then there's a pretty popular Mexican restaurant next to it. But that popular Mexican restaurant used to be a diner called Red Baron, Red Baron Hotel. And it was open all night. And me and my friends, we were, 18 through 19. We would hang out, go to school, go to college all day, hang out with our friends and maybe party and stuff. But long story short, every night we ended up at Red Baron at some point, and we'd stay there way too long, drinking coffee and eating food. But in 2003, when we were doing all that, they had found it was an 18-year-old girl, and basically somebody stayed in the room, felt like it smelled funny, called maintenance. They found her underneath the bed, and she had met. So this is 2003, a long time ago. It's way easier to meet people online these days.
Right.
But she had met a grown man from Tennessee on the internet. He had, talked her into like he was going to come to Garden City and get a hotel. They were going to have fun, and he killed her. And again, that was 21 years ago. That was a long time ago. Killers and dirty people have only gotten more crafty since. So just really be careful anytime you're talking to somebody on the internet. You could
Most
really
definitely. Most definitely. My daughters get tired of hearing me talking about it, but I tell them, I got to keep you guys aware of this stuff and keep you guys safe. I don't care how old you are.
Yeah.
Because my daughters now are 18 and almost 20. So, I mean, I still warn them.
This is very scary, says Allison Turner. Asperger's. Blind without glasses. Hope she's okay. To be fair, though, I am also blind without maybe not technically, but I'm not getting very far away from my house without my glasses. Like I'm pretty blind. It's a disaster. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Happened to me. Not magic.
Pictures.
Catfishing. Gypsy Rose Blanchard Metagon.
I haven't heard much about that really.
I don't know if we should open it up here, but like to me, like again, like people can click on whatever they want to click on. I think it's kind of wild that we as an American society have turned Gypsy Rose into a celebrity. Like, and again, I don't want to get into the skinny. I was like, was it right for what she did? What her mom did was horrible. But that's just wild that's because in America, like we don't have royal families. The only way to become quote unquote royal is to become famous and be a celebrity. It's just wild that like that's a thing you can do to become a celebrity is have a guy with severe autism beat your mom to death. It's just wild.
It's crazy.
And there's one comment I want to get up there real fast. My niece has been reported missing by her mom, and I just found out. Anthony, if you can get me photos of her and her name, her age, height, weight, hair, eye color, last known clothing description, if you can get it, when and where she's missing from, and the law enforcement agency her report's filed with. I can get a flyer made and posted for you. Just private message it to me at Kansas Missing and Unsolved. And what's this one? My grandson's high functioning autistic, unless you know him. But he is 18 with the brain capacity of a 12-year-old, but it is more of a learning disability. He's able to work on cars, has a driver's license and drives. He reads at a low level, has no concept of days. See, my older daughter, she's not autistic or anything, but she was exposed to meth in the womb by her birth mother. We adopted our girls from foster care, and she does have learning disabilities. She doesn't have concept of days or times. And I froze up somehow.
We can still hear you though, so you're good.
Okay. Because on my end, my picture's froze on my end.
But we can hear you. We hear you perfect. No, like to just go there. Like my wife, for I don't want to like saying like too much, but for the last 18 years, she's worked with people who have mental health issues, people who require, 24-hour care, and I get to know a lot of people, in 18 years that she takes care of, and they're wonderful people, and they have, they have certain issues that they have problems with. But I can promise you this, I encapsulate a very small portion of all of those issues. Like, I think it's like maybe me and Steph, when we found out our kid had autism, like when the doctor at the school was telling us the reasons they thought our son had autism, we were like texting each other, like, I think I have autism. I don't know. I get like, you said your daughter, doesn't seem like just seems like a normal.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say kid. She's like in her 20s, she's like 20 something, but she just seems like a normal young person to me, And then as far as like, will they have like the mind of a 12-year-old? Well, I have friends that are 40 that have no diagnosis, and they have literally, I'm not even joking, they have the mind. I have a friend who puts engines together in airplanes, and he's very smart with wrenches and stuff, but he once asked me how to spell kitchen. So at the end of the day, like, I think it takes all kinds, I think sometimes autism can be a superpower. Ricky, do we have you at all? Are you super frozen, or?
Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you. I'm going to pull you down and put you back up. Let's see. Okay, your screen's black, but go ahead and
oh my goodness.
Go ahead and read what you want to read the flyer, and we'll keep going.
Good old Cox. You got to love them, man. I'm telling you what.
Well, they did say you were going to have an outing tonight.
Yeah. So. This flyer here is sharing like off the hook. Last I looked, it was over 3,000 shares. It's just going just phenomenal. I mean, unreal. But just Trinity Sutton, missing from Wichita, Kansas since August 17th of 2024. She's 17, 5'2", 125 pounds, blonde hair, blue eyes. It's believed she may be still in the Wichita area, or she may be in the Dallas, Texas area. And she's 17. She's 5'2", weighs 125 pounds, has blonde hair and blue eyes. She does have a nose piercing in her right nostril, as you can see there in the picture. You have any information regarding Trinity's disappearance, her whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-660-9254 or 316-660-9456 or 316-263-6011 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. See if we can't get Trinity located and back to where she needs to be. And down at the bottom, it's still froze in the same position it was froze when I was up on screen. So,
it's
Well, little brother, let me tell you, I messaged Cox earlier on Facebook because he said he's doing just fine, and they told me there was some kind of an outage going on, and I would be experiencing periodic drops, and they didn't know when it was going to be rectified. So, that's where I'm at.
Kaida says, I'm autistic, high functioning, Asperger's. Autistic people are not violent. That's something completely different. Whatever he did was a choice he made and completely unrelated to us. I always tell my kid, like, I think autism, if you use any mental illness, if you use it right, it's kind of a superpower. Your brain works in different ways than your neighbors, and if you utilize the powers, you can do some pretty cool things with your different brain. Autism is absolutely genetic.
And Tammy, I got news for you about AT&T. Here about a month ago, I was reading that AT&T had a big-time data breach, and of just about every AT&T customer's personal information got leaked. So
Well, I wouldn't worry.
Have AT&T.
I wouldn't worry too much about that because like 5 days ago they came out and said that everybody's social security number got leaked. So I think the whole anonymity thing is in the past. I don't think that if you want to be anonymous, burn your phone and move out into the woods and maybe
Right.
and avoid anything that looks or sounds like a drone.
Right.
They'll find you. He's but I'm thinking that I used to have Cox when I was in Phoenix and in Garden City. It usually works pretty well. There's a lot of faster options these days, but Cox is usually pretty well. But they do have issues where, like, if they're repairing something, people in certain neighborhoods will lose. They'll go in and out. But as long as we can hear you, that's fine.
Yep. Yep. As long as you can hear me, we're good to go.
Yeah, I carry a cell phone everywhere with me. I go, so I'm screwed. People know where I am.
I put Emily back up for this week because I updated her age now. I looked on it today to see if I needed to change it, and I did. So figured I would put her back up there with the correct age now. But Emily Ibarra missing from Dodge City, Kansas since January 12, 2023. She was 24 when she was missing. She'll now be 26. She's 5'5", 200 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. She was last seen at the high-rise apartments in Dodge City, Kansas. Emily's family and friends have not seen or heard from her since she went missing in January of 2023. Again, at the time of her disappearance, she was 24. She's now 26. She is 5'5", weighs 200 pounds, has black hair, brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Emily's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Overland Park, Kansas Police Department at 913-895-6300 or the Dodge City, Kansas Police Department at 620-227-4646 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And the reason the Overland Park, Kansas Police Department is on there is because that's where the missing persons report is filed at. Her family lives in Overland Park, but Emily was living in Dodge City when she went missing. So that's why Overland Park is on there. That's where the missing persons report is filed. So just want to clear that up.
Right.
And thank you to Annette Lawless for helping me clear that up.
Well, you know, Ricky, I looked on KBI's website today, and the juveniles that are missing in Kansas is 198. It's went down. But we have 420 adults still missing too.
Wow. And we got Megan Webber checking in on Eric Marco. I haven't heard anything new on him. I definitely haven't. I wish we had.
The audience is wishing my screen would go black. Like, can his screen turn off by chance?
I don't know what's going on. I guess I'm the ninja announcer, I guess. I don't know. I'm telling you, if it's not one thing, it's another. Seems like lately we can't have a decent show without something happening, whether it's a storm, whether it's whatever. Okay, this one is trying to find it in my other shows way down there. Tracy Pickett. This is one I had to make some corrections on because I noticed I made a big mistake on it the last time. Oh, brother. This is Tracy Pickett, missing from Webb City, Missouri since August 12, 1992. She was 14 when she'd been missing. She's now 46. She is 5'4", 115 pounds, dark blonde hair, brown eyes. She left her job in Joplin, Missouri, just in the night at with a female friend in the 800 block of Daughtry Avenue in Webb City, Missouri. Tracy's mother allowed her to go, thinking her friend lived with her parents and they would be there to supervise. In fact, the girl lived on her own. There was a party at the residence that night, and according to witnesses, one of the guests, a man named Al, kept staring at Tracy all night long and even asked her if she was wearing panties. Eventually, Al offered to give her a ride home to Joplin so she could change her clothes. He was supposed to return to her friend's apartment afterwards. He drove a black van with 2 sunroofs, louvered side windows, and Oklahoma license plate. And witnesses stated there was a gun inside. A week after her disappearance, authorities located and interviewed the individual who gave her the ride. By then, he had left the state. Al was actually named Lowell Andrew Billy, and he has a prison record. Lowell claimed he dropped Tracy off outside a pawn shop in downtown Joplin. Female voice Tracy's mother didn't recognize left 2 messages on her answering machine, one on the night of August 11th, one at 10 a.m. the next morning, saying Tracy was on her way home to change clothes. When Tracy's mother realized she was missing, she went to Tracy's friend's apartment and found her daughter's shoes in the bedroom closet. Neighbors who lived nearby reported that on the morning of August 12th, they saw a young girl running down an alley screaming, "Get away from me, leave me alone." At about noon that same day, a witness reported seeing Lowell cleaning out a van near Carthage, Missouri. The van matched the description of Lowell's vehicle. The police were unable to verify that the van the witness saw was in fact his. Police stated they believe Tracy was murdered and Lowell is the prime suspect in her disappearance, but authorities have no evidence to charge anyone in her case. If you have any information regarding Tracy's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call Captain Nick Jimenez in the Joplin, Missouri Police Department at 417-623-3131, extension 1676, or the Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178 or 866-362-6422, and see if we can help get Tracy located and back to where she needs to be.
Wow.
Yep. While Chris said he was, check this comment by Christopher Unruh here. He said he was reading a post on Facebook that somebody shared with two guys sitting in a van in the Walmart parking lot in Pratt, Kansas, videotaping young girls in the Pratt County, or the Pratt County Sheriff's Office believes the men were of Middle Eastern descent. Can you say traffickers? Potentially, possibly, maybe.
Yeah. You know, the world is scary these days. I don't like going anywhere alone.
Yeah. Some people think that's because I'll take my dogs out for a walk at like 11 midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. And then I guess I've lived here all my life, so it really doesn't bother me, I guess. But a little leery around my apartment complex because in the last 13 years I've lived here, there's been interesting things happen. So
right.
I keep my ears open and my guard up. So like my window getting broke out, my neighbor's window getting broke out, another neighbor's tire getting slashed. So yeah. Why won't I unfreeze? I don't get it. My brother says, "Oh, my Pratt is a relatively small town. It can happen anywhere." Yeah. Yep, I remember it's been a couple of years or so ago. There was a guy spotted here in town. He'd walked up to a house. He was on Oakdale Avenue, and there were some kids playing outside. Walked up in the yard and took one by the hand and was leading the kid away out of the yard. And another kid came out the front door and hollered at him. He let the kid go and took off. And I think it was the next day or day after, a guy matching that same description tried the same thing in Hayes, west of here, about 95 miles. And then he was seen again further west, like I think in Hoisington or something. So it was like he was working his way west, but still trying the same thing every stop.
Wow.
Oh my God, Tammy. Here you go. Derek must not have found humor in that one.
Did you read Dana's flyer?
Not
Not
yet.
yet.
Okay. I was just making sure my phone's blowing up, so I kind of checked out for a second.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Dana Jane Bruce. We cover her every week. She's missing from Sedalia, Missouri since October 4th, 2008. She was 23 when she was missing. She's now 39. 5'2", 98 pounds, brown hair, green or hazel eyes. She was last seen at her children's babysitter's home in Sedalia. She had left the children there earlier that day so she could go out for the evening. She returned at midnight and gave the babysitter more money and asked her to watch the children for the rest of the night. Dana was seen at Malone's Bar on Main Street with a young man driving a late model red Ford F-150 truck earlier on the night of her disappearance. She left with that man at 11:30. Police have identified the man that Dana was with on the night that she vanished. He traveled to Atlanta, Georgia after her disappearance, and police questioned him there about Bruce after he was arrested there on unrelated charges of marijuana possession and driving on a suspended license. Authorities have not named him publicly, but they are calling him a person of interest in her case. He told his questioners that he and Dana parted ways after they left the bar, and he never saw her again after that. She left all of her belongings behind, including her hairbrush and toothbrush. She does not have credit cards, debit cards, checking account, cell phone, or a car. Again, when she went missing, she was 23. She would now be 39. She is 5'2", weighs 98 pounds, has brown hair that was colored brown at the roots and black at the ends with red highlights and green or hazel eyes. She was last known to be wearing a black shirt with the word rebel and silver lettering in the front, or on the front, and blue jeans. She has a tattoo of a teddy bear with wings and the name Dylan on her upper left arm. She is blind in her left eye. Dana has a 2-inch scar along her lower spine and a staple scar on her right shoulder. Her ears are pierced 1 time each. If you have any information regarding Dana's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Sedalia, Missouri Police Department at 660-827-7823 or 660-826-8100 or the Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178 or their toll-free number 866-362-6422 and see if we can't get Dana home and back to her family where she belongs. And again, if you have any information, no matter how small you think it might be or how irrelevant it might be or how minute it might be, call that in because it could be the piece they need to put this puzzle together to move this case forward. So get it called in.
Absolutely.
Did you see that one comment, Derek? This one?
Yeah. I think it sticks.
And here's Alex Perez. We've been covering him since just shortly after he went missing. Almost 4 years ago now. He went missing from Ulysses, Kansas since December 1st, 2020. He was 35 when he went missing. He's now 38. He's 5'11", weighs 235 pounds, has black hair that he shaves nearly bald and brown eyes. Called a family member on the phone on December 1st and said he'd be coming over to do laundry. He never arrived at the family member's home in Ulysses, and he's not been heard from or seen by family or friends since then. He had been staying with family and friends prior to his disappearance. And at the time of his disappearance, he was 35. He's now 38. 5'11", weighs 235 pounds, has black hair that he shaves nearly bald and brown eyes, has a tattoo of a bumblebee on his face underneath his left eye. He has Perez tattooed on one of his arms, and he has a tattoo of a cross on a chain across his chest. If you have any information regarding Alexander's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Grant County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 620-356-3500 or the Ulysses, Kansas Police Department at 620-356-4600 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get Alex located and back to his family. And as we've talked about, there has been an arrest made in this case, and I'm just waiting to see how that's all going to pan out. Hopefully, eventually, don't know how likely, but hopefully, eventually, the guy will just give it up and say where Alex is at.
It's what we can pray for.
Yeah.
Kenny Wright chat.
My buddy Kenny. Yeah, Kenny's missing from here in Salina since November 4th, 2019. He's 69 when he went missing. He's now 74, 5'9", 175 pounds, gray hair, blue eyes. Does sometimes use the last name Brown as opposed to his given name. Right check. And he does suffer from diminished mental health capabilities. He is on disability, but he's not tried to access the funds since he was last seen. He may have family in Northwest Kansas, possibly around Colby. He was last seen at the Gospel Mission in Salina. He left there and has not been seen or heard from since. He does not have a phone, a vehicle, or identification. His mode of transportation was a bicycle. Again, at the time of his disappearance, Kenny was 69. He's now 74. He's 5'9", weighs about 175 pounds, has gray hair and blue eyes. And if you have any information regarding Kenny's disappearance, you know his whereabouts, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7210 or Crime Stoppers at 785-825-8477. Or you can text SA Tips to Crimes, which is 274637, or visit www.pd.salina.org and follow the Crime Stoppers link to submit a tip, or call KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't help get Kenny located and back to where he needs to be. And we talked about it last week, update on that partial skull they found in western part of Salina over off Magnolia. Down by a creek bed, some mushroom hunters found it. I was reading a recent article where they were talking about their sheriff's departments trying to raise money to get the remains sent to a better lab to have more thorough testing done for DNA on it. And in the article, it mentioned something that I had never heard before. It was not only did they find the partial skull, but it goes on to say they found more remains and a dilapidated tent back there too. So,
Oh no.
yeah. So, my first thought of course, my first thought when they said partial skull, my first thought was Catherine Adam, but then now they're going on to say more remains in a dilapidated tent and the fact that he left the mission. They're also saying they believe it was a male. And at the time between the man's death and the discovery of the skull was about a year. Kenny was about a year and 5 months. Closest I could find on the missing persons list on KBI was Kenny. So I'm really starting to wonder if it's not. I don't know, but I'm just starting to wonder if it's not.
Wow.
You know, because that was the first time I'd seen in that. I can't remember if it was Cakes or KWCH's article. One of the two had mentioned that they found additional remains in a dilapidated tent. So if he left the mission, and it's known that he's lived homeless a time or two before, so I mean, very well could be. He could have pitched a tent back in there, and because didn't you say last time you looked up the weather and stuff, and it was like really cold that night and stuff like that? And,
Yeah, it was not good.
Yeah. But we'll just have.
I'm not seeing any. Oh, let me put Kansas. I'm not seeing any updates when I just go to Google, but I didn't put Kansas.
Well, if you put in
well, I'm just the most recent update I'm seeing is like 2021.
Well, if you look up Sheriff's Office trying to raise money for DNA testing, it should pull it. But I do have the articles linked on a post about the that article and stuff. I have 2 articles linked to it and stuff. I'll have to reshare it to the top, but it's in there.
So they really just need like not that much more.
Yeah. And they said that the tent looked like it had been left over from the prior winter. So again, fits the time frame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You just have to wait and see, if they can get the remainder of that money. And last I looked, let's see, what was it? And they were needing 7,500, and it was right around
3,500 short.
Yeah. And there should be a link at the bottom of that article to take to the, and I have a link for the fundraiser too. If people want to donate to help get those remains identified, there's a link in the comments for that as well. Colton Barrera, this is another one. I've been making flyers for Colton since I started Kansas Missing and Unsolved, 12 years ago. It's one of the first cases that really caught my eye, caught my attention. He's been missing from Russell, Kansas since September 26, 2008. He was 17 when he was missing. He's now 33, or would now be 33. 5'9", weighs 135 pounds, has brown hair and brown eyes. Friend dropped him off at an outdoor skate park, and Colton was supposed to call his friend when he wanted to be picked up, but he never did. Authorities believe that he left of his own accord, but Colton's family does not believe this because he wasn't having any problems that would cause him to run away, and he didn't leave his wallet and his ID behind. And information that came out, it's been a little while back now, suggests that he may have been killed and his body hidden, and his case is still unsolved, obviously. And if you have any information regarding Colton's disappearance, his whereabouts. His mom is requesting everybody call the Kansas City field office of the FBI at 816-512-8200. She wants to get them back involved with the case again. Or the KBI at 785-296-4017. Or the Russell County, Kansas Sheriff's Department at 785-483-2151. Or let's see. Yeah. So if anybody has any of that information, again, no matter how minute, how small, how irrelevant, please call it in again. His mom wants everybody to call the Kansas City field office of the FBI at 816-512-8200 first. And she wants to get them back in on the case. They were involved. And yeah, they weren't, I guess they were involved, and she feels like they were being misdirected, and so they got out of it, but she wants them back in it. So Tammy, I'll message you the link to that crowd that it's called crowdfund or something like that. But I'll get you the link to it.
All right.
If you can find it in that article.
What's his? I didn't find it. I what is Colton's mom's name?
Linda Kirby.
Okay. It looks like she has a bunch of poems about Colton online.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wow. I'm gonna have to read all these sometime.
Yeah.
I hear that his dad was from Elkhart. I want to find out if that's true.
Let's see. Well, I'm finding videos. I don't want videos. There we go. I'm going to post the link in the comments here in just a second, Tammy. Let's see here. If I can find it here. Oh, there it is. Boink. It's a website called DNAsolves.com is what it is. And here comes the link in the comments now.
Got it.
And there it is. Should pop up on one of those.
Yep. Got it.
Okay, cool. And like I said, I'll get that post. I did a thing for the show that I set up at the wrestling show where I printed up information about the donation and everything, and then I made a QR scan where people could scan it. We'll take them to that as well. I was thinking about posting it on the page, which I just might do.
That's
I'll
cool.
have to see. And I'm still froze down there. Can you believe that?
Try turning your
Did you
camera
say
off and then turning it back on.
Well, the
there
way
next
it's well, it's
Like
built
stop
into the monitor,
camera,
so I'd have to
start
push
camera.
it down and pull it back. I'd have to push it down and pull it back up is what I have to do because it's built into the monitor. So let me try that and see what happens here.
Well, I mean, just right there on StreamYard, you should be able to hit stop cam and then start cam.
Oh, okay. Well, I just pushed
Try
it down
that.
and pulled it back up, so that didn't work. Okay, stop cam and start cam.
You were still frozen.
That did not help.
You're in deep thought.
Very
I'm telling
deep.
you something.
In your
I feel
picture,
like
you're like
I'm
very stoic.
really weird. I don't know.
You're just having a think.
I guess. Okay, this is Rochelle Elizabeth Hammond. She's missing from Osaka, Colorado since August 15, 2019. She was 30 when she went missing. She's now 35. She's 5'6", 120 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. She was last seen walking away from her Osaka, Colorado home. She left all of her belongings behind, including her phone, her identification, her medication, her car, her computer, her tools, and her pet dog. Rochelle had only been living in the area for about 3 weeks prior to her disappearance. She'd previously lived in Columbus, Ohio. She may be homeless. Although police can find little evidence in her disappearance, her mother believes that she did not leave of her own accord and may have been a human trafficking victim. Rochelle suffers from bipolar and schizophrenia and has been prescribed medication for her conditions, which she also left behind. Rochelle's nose is pierced. She has numerous tattoos, including the phrase "live like a lion" on her upper chest, which you can see it down in the pictures down there. A star behind her ear, a skull on the back of her wrist, stars on the inside of her forearm, a cat with a bong on her shoulder, and other tattoos. And I try to get as many pictures of the tattoos as I could fit on there. She was last known to be wearing a black tank top, khaki shorts, black Nike shoes, and she has a silver circuit or barbell on her nose. If you have any information regarding Rochelle's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Alamosa County, Colorado Sheriff's Office at 719-589-6608 and see if we can't help get Rochelle located and back home to her family where she needs to be.
Did you steal my pen?
Tammy's saying you ought to have to hard reboot, but we will lose you though. Yeah, possible.
I think it's your internet connection.
They're probably still trying to get it fixed. Dorks. This is Haley Davis, again missing from Salina, Kansas since July 21st, 2023. She was 19 when she went missing. She's now 20. He's 5'6" to 5'7", weighs between 190 and 200 pounds. Last known to have her hair dyed bleach blonde and blue eyes. She had left Salina with a male acquaintance to go to Wichita. She was last active on her social media and last heard from on July 21st, 2023. Again, at the time of her disappearance, she was 19. She's now 20. She's 5'6" to 5'7" inches tall, weighs between 190 and 200 pounds. And her hair was last known to be dyed bleach blonde, and she has blue eyes. If you have any information regarding Haley's disappearance, or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7210, or call Crime Stoppers at 785-825-8477. Or you can text SA Tips to Crimes, which is 274-637, or visit www.pd.salina.org and follow the Crime Stoppers link to submit a tip there. Or just recently added the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-268-4181, or 316-268-4407, or 316-263-6011, or the KBI at 785-296-4017. Added the Wichita Police Department information because my understanding is they're now investigating the case also from the Wichita end, since she was last believed to have gone to Wichita. So again, I'm going to appeal again one more time. If anybody has any information, no matter how small you might think it might be, or relevant, insignificant, or anything like that, just call it in, because it may be a big piece of what they need to help get this thing figured out and get her back home. I did go to that visual that they had for Haley in the park a few weeks ago, and it was a lot of tears shed, a lot of people hurting. I did get a chance to meet her son, her young son. He's a little pistol, let me tell you. I talked to her brother Travis for a little bit, and talked to her aunt for a little bit. They're really hurting, and they're wanting her home. They're wanting answers. So if anybody can help them with that, please call it in. All right.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I'm going to figure out where I put him here on my list. Oh, there he is. Navin Joseph Varon, missing from Wichita, Kansas since August 14th, 2024. He's 14, 5'6", 140 pounds, brown hair that was last known to be dyed blue, and brown eyes. I believe he may be trying to get to Trinidad, Colorado, or Las Vegas, Nevada. And he's 14, 5'6", weighs 140 pounds, has brown hair that was last known to be dyed bright blue, and brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Navin's disappearance, you know his whereabouts, please call 911 immediately, or call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-660-9254, or 316-660-9456, or 316-263-6011, or the KBI at 785-296-4017, and see if we can get Navin located and back to where he needs to be. And he is another one that I did do a prior flyer for one other time. And Jonathan Jensen, he's one we covered before, and want to cover him some more to see if we can't help get him located. Jonathan John R. Jensen, missing from Kerwin, Kansas since June 14th, 2023. He was 52 when he went missing. He's now 54. He's 5'11", 190 pounds, brown hair, hazel eyes. He left without his vehicle, his cell phone, or his wallet. And he was 52 when he went missing. He's now 54. He's 5'11", weighs 190 pounds, has brown hair and hazel eyes. If you have any information regarding Jonathan's disappearance, you know his whereabouts, please call the Phillips County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 785-543-6885, or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And see if we can't help get Jonathan located and back home to his family. I know last week we had, I believe it was his daughter in the comments on the show last week.
Yeah.
I haven't seen her yet this week, but hopefully she'll pop back up in future shows.
Yeah.
Maybe able to update us on some stuff, hopefully. And this one's another concerning case. This gentleman's been missing for some time. David Reese, missing from Harper, Kansas since August 1st. So about 3 weeks. He's 73, 5'11", 250 pounds. He is balding with brown eyes. Believed to be driving a white Chevy Silverado with Kansas license plate 885NEW. Was last seen on Thursday evening, August 1st, but investigators believe he was driving southbound on U.S. Highway 281 near Medicine Lodge on Friday morning, August 1st, around 7:40 a.m. David may be traveling with a chocolate Labrador Retriever. He has diabetes, anxiety, and a condition impairing cognition and memory. And he's 73, he's 5'11", weighs 250 pounds. He is balding and has a white beard, has brown eyes, and is likely wearing a baseball cap. If you have any information regarding David's disappearance, you know his whereabouts, please call 911 immediately. Or you can call the Harper, Kansas Police Department at 620-842-3830 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And see if we can't help get David located and back home to his family. And Marlene is saying they dragged the dam at Kerwin Dam last fall for whose body? Because he's just only been missing for 3 weeks. So I wonder whose body they're talking to. And got Irene Siegel asking if we've done April Wiss. We haven't covered her in a little while, no. And Sherry's asking, have you ever had any luck with information on Lori Heimer? Not a word. Not a word. Oh, you must be talking about Jonathan Jensen on this one. They dragged the dam at Kerwin Dam. Okay. That must have been Jonathan Jensen she was referring to on that one. Okay. Okie doke. I didn't hear about that. That's good information to have.
This case is very interesting. I saw Annette followed up on this one a few days ago.
Yeah, she did actually do that. Yeah, she's been, even though she's not with Cake anymore, she's still doing her thing with the missing person. She's not stopping with that at all.
She's bigger than Cake.
Oh yeah. Yep, this is Jonathan Clayton. He's missing from Peabody, Kansas since August 3rd, 2024. He's 42. 6 foot tall, 215 pounds, brown hair, hazel eyes. He was last heard from on Saturday, August 3rd at 2:21 p.m. and his husband filed a missing persons report on Monday, August 5th. Jonathan was running errands before a scheduled meeting, and that was the last contact and his last communication. He's last known to be driving a red Chevy extended cab pickup with Kansas license plate. I couldn't make out the whole plate in that photo, just the 104 that it starts with. And he's 42 years old. He's 6 foot tall, 215 pounds, brown hair and hazel eyes. He does wear eyeglasses. And if you have any information regarding Jonathan's disappearance, you know his whereabouts, please call the Peabody, Kansas Police Department at 620-983-2133 or 620-983-2111, or the KBI, who we were just told earlier is now apparently taking over the case at 785-296-4017. See if we can't help get Jonathan located. Yeah, his case is an interesting case in that apparently he'd lived in Pennsylvania for a time and managed to get his hands on like $700 and some thousand or something like that, or
Wow.
200 and some thousand. It was 200 and some $1,000, I think it was, and he was ordered to pay restitution on it, and he still owes like $100 and some $1,000 on it, and
most of it.
Yeah, and my brother saying he thought he'd read Jonathan's case. People did receive some emails from him since the date he's reported missing, stating that if he went missing or turned up dead, to look at certain people in Peabody for it. Okay. So I did see that. Okay. Yeah.
Well, they just gave a banker here in Elkhart, Kansas, was it 24 years?
24 years.
He stole $47 million from Elkhart.
Oh my goodness.
And Elkhart's only got like 2,000 people, so it was a pretty rough week. But 2 or 3 days ago, they just gave that guy 24 years, and he's in his 50s, so pretty much a death sentence probably. But I never understood. I mean, I guess I understand the idea of stealing. People are like, oh, I can get a bunch of money for not doing any work, but like I could never do it because my brain would immediately go like 4 or 5 steps down. I'm like, no, I'll end up in handcuffs. Like that's what'll happen. Right. Nothing but silence in Lori's case. Been a long time since anything new came out.
Right.
Beverly Logan.
Nothing on that one either. Unfortunately, there's been total silence there. I need to get her case back up and rolling on here again too. Yeah, that's an unsolved homicide. It was here in Salina over on Iron Street, and she was found murdered in her house. Pretty brutal murder, I understand. And they'd released a composite of somebody that they thought was a person of interest, and then turned around and recanted and said, nope, never mind, not a person of interest. But since then, nothing new's come out. So I don't know. But I will get her flyer up going again next week for next week's show, because I do need to get her back on there again. I try to keep all these local cases going because I just don't really feel like there's enough attention being paid to them by local media, local law enforcement, or anything like that. I was really surprised when all this information came out about those remains that they'd found out there on West Magnolia in that creek bed. So I've been really surprised by all the attention that's getting, but I'm glad it is. Yeah, this is Eric Marco. He's missing from Wichita since August 1st of this year. He's 36. He's 5'11", 150 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. His hair is long, and he does have a mustache, I guess. If you have any information regarding Eric's disappearance, you know of his whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-268-4181 or 316-268-4111 or 316-263-6011 or the KBI at 785-296-4017, and see if we can help get Marco located and back to where he needs to be. And hopefully they can find him safe.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm still froze.
You're still froze. Well, hey, we're over the hour mark, man. So we'll just have you say a prayer for all of our people that are out there missing, that need to be brought home. Anybody who's dealing with the grief of not knowing where their loved one is, and then just anybody who's dealing with uncertainty. There's a lot of like Alexander Perez cases going on.
Yeah.
The case over in Guyman, Oklahoma. Lots of families are wanting to know what's going to happen with the situation with their loved one being missing, or not coming home ever again.
Tammy says there's a square there, though.
Well, Ricky is a square.
Yeah, Big Bucks. Yeah. Sorry, I've had to deprive you all of my handsome face for the last half hour or so.
We've never had this many viewers with your camera being turned off. It's weird.
Oh man. And thank you guys for being with us and going through these cases with us and asking about other cases I can get on the show next week as well. But I do just want to say, Heavenly Father, thank you for being with us tonight and getting us together and allow us to go over these cases. And, just pray that somebody will call that piece of information in that they need to bring these folks home and solve these unsolved homicides, which I don't think we covered unsolved homicide this show. And then, I just pray that everybody out there is staying healthy and staying happy and, living their best life. And until we see each other again next week, everybody stay safe. God bless. Have a good night. Amen.